It was an all-white school. Well, I was in my whole time was in the all-white school system in Topeka, Kansas. It was the last segregated school system in the nation. But anyway, so going into junior high, now things changed, and remember, and I've made videos talking about learning the rules. Okay, when I moved to the middle school, they got new rules, and the bullies were different, and their tactics were different. They were much more aggressive, and the bullying wasn't the same. I say when you're young, color doesn't really make that much difference. As we got older, I guess it made a difference, because like I say, well, I was the only one that wasn't white in the school, so I stood out. And these people were taught racial. They were taught racial hatred. And so you got to remember, I mean, they're 12, 14, I think it's up to 15 years old. We weren't driving. So it was 12, 13, 14, 15 maybe. Yeah. And so the hatred that these people had for me, they didn't even know me. How could they hate me? Don't you need to know somebody to hate somebody? So, that's where I learned about how people can hate for whatever kind of reason. I mean, it doesn't take people much of a reason to hate. And to show their hatred, they use bully tactics. And you find that even in the workplace. When someone doesn't like you and they're your boss, they're going to give you more dumpy work and this type of stuff. So that's basically what they were doing. They were really putting pressure on me. And but the thing is, I would fight back. I learned, now by this time, after a couple, I don't know how many, but after a while, I figured out when they start coming around me, I figured out there's going to be a beating. I know there's going to be a beating. And, well, you have a choice. Because they're using bully type tactics, and now instead of 2 or 3, now we're talking 6 or 8. And then when they start coming around you, you do one or the other. You either prepare to fight, or I say get on your knees. But literally, you don't really get on your knees. But emotionally and mentally, you do. You get on your knees. You apologize. I'm not quite sure how can I apologize not being white? Sorry. Sorry, tough. You just got to live with it. So you apologize, you bribe, and that's when they, well, here, take my lunch money. That's what I'm talking about. And like I say, they're going to knock your books out of your hand. These are the tactics they're going to use to intimidate you. Now, to me, at that time, like I say, I already learned. So when they knock the books out of my hand, well, that's okay. I need my hands free because I'm fixing to whip the hell out of you. So right when they knock the books out of my hand, bam, I'm all over them. All of them. And normally, I put the fear in them that quick because they're striking at me and I'm jumping back at them. Most of the time, they would all scatter. And now there's been times when, I'll tell you what happened, and what it is, they get organized gangs is what it is. Even the bullies learn to organize. And at that time, I would consider it a gang. And like I say, so they would use their gang, they working together, they'd go around, intimidate people. The leader of the gang would do it, and then the gang would back him up. Now, right back, we're right back to, like I say, between 12 and 14, 15 years old. So it's the same thing. There's only so much you can do in the way of hurting people. I mean, it's hard for, you know, youngins like that to kill each other. So it was right back to broken noses, teeth getting knocked out, getting scuffed up, you know, getting the concrete with your knees and elbows and stuff like that. So you're going to get skinned up and stuff. So, but that's the kind of stuff that would happen at that time. And like I say, I would have. I'll tell you, it was really wild. It was being on the bus. You take the bus, and I'm sitting on the bus, and then here they come on, and I'm thinking, oh, here it comes. And I'm sitting there in the bus, and they come by, and they'll slap you upside the head and stuff like that. And, you know, not enough to do anything, but I thought. And the more I let them get on the bus and then slap me upside the back of the head or just poke on me and push on me, I kept letting them do it, and it escalated. It got more and it got more and it got more. And then finally I figured it all out. And then they got on the bus, and then I had my books, instead of on my lap, I had them sitting next to me. And right when they came up, and right when they got to me, bammo, I started after them. And now this is a little bit more brutal than it was when I was in, you know, 6th grade. So I say I would get up, and like I say, it was more close quarters because we're in the aisle of the bus. And then so it got a little bit more dramatic right there, and a little bit more, I say, bloody noses and stuff like that. And it was hard for the others to run away. There wasn't no room to run. So I got in a lot of trouble. By the school system. I was considered a troublemaker. And but I lived with it. My dad didn't. He caught hell all the time. And that's where he kept telling me, don't fight, don't fight. But he wasn't the one sitting in the bus. And so and then again, he's Chinese. Chinese are, they're like the people down here. They're kind of dull. They're used to being under control. And I'm American, you know, so control is not one of our strong points. And so what I learned was, not only do I have to deal with the bullies, but I have to deal with a system that makes me the bad guy. And I did the best I could. I wish I could give you the answers to it as a child. Now I'm grown up. I've got the answer to it now. There's a reason why I train SWAT teams. Training SWAT teams showed the system that I'm not a bad guy. I'm helping the police, I say, but I've specialized in hostage rescue. But I say, I was able to show the system I wasn't a threat. Now, that's why when I was in school like that, I couldn't show the system that I'm not a threat. All they see is the results. They see the other people all bloody and me with my fists bloody. Well, then they take it for granted I'm the one. And then, of course, the losers whine. And Well, he just struck me out of nowhere. Yeah. But we weren't talking about what happened last week and the week before and the week before. When you add all that up, I just came to my limits and I didn't know how to handle it. Maybe I should have reported him. I don't think so. Okay. Now, things changed. The bullies changed a lot when I got into high school. Now, when we got into high school, we're driving. So that tells you we've upped the ante. Now we're more, the kids are more responsible now because they are driving. Okay, also, when they're driving, that gives them a place to store weapons. And now at that time, it was weapons more like baseball bats, because like I said, we're going to go play baseball, so you got the baseball. You can justify having these tools in your car. And I say, what do you call it, a lug wrench, and then they would have knives. Even at that time, well, I was in the city at that time. When I moved down to Oklahoma, Kansas, Oklahoma line, everybody carried guns in their cars too, but we never used guns to fight. We'll get into that. And but like I say, they had more weapons. So the thing was, now when the bullies would come around me, now they're carrying, you know, clubs, baseball bats, you know. Really, there wasn't knives. They really didn't use knives. The idea was, and I think it was funny, the idea was, well, we're just going to club you. We're not going to hurt you. You know, like with a knife, you might die. But with a club, I don't know. They weren't thinking you're going to die getting beat with a club. So, but anyway, they would come around me with tools. And so, and I'm unarmed. But like I say, I did the martial arts, and seeing it was all white school, they didn't, this was all back before Bruce Lee too, so nobody really realized that the feet could hurt just as much as a fist could. And really at that time, I really kind of slowed down on using the fist. My skills improved enough where I could use other parts of my body instead of using the fist. Because the fist, like I say, you could hurt your fist. And even now, I seldom use my fist. So in high school, it was changing. The bullies came up the ladder. They're more aggressive in the way of they demand you to get on your knees now. You know what I mean? It's not like we're going to negotiate this thing. They come in ready to come at you automatically. And then they use force. They're more apt to move to the force stage where they're going to use force. They'd much rather come up there, give you some lip, and then if you don't respond like they want you to, then they slap you upside the head, you know, and then like I say, they might go on and punch you. See, if you don't respond after they slap you, then they might punch you. And then like I say, they got people standing behind them with sticks and stuff. So you're they're training you, they're teaching you to go along with their, and it's for them personally. I mean, they don't care about other groups and other stuff. They're just talking about their own group. So, and they expect respect for our bunch, or we're going to whip the hell out of you. You know, they want to strike fear. They want to get this fear to give them respect. And that's basically how the bullies worked on up into high school. And man, I think we're going to take a little rest right there. And this is, so I can see right now this is going to be a series of videos. But I want to get into more about how the whole system works. But hopefully you done figured out how you can avoid it right now as a child, learning what it is that you're coming up against. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.